Hey guys, we're going to be starting in just a second here. Emily's going to kick off the call. And how's everybody doing? I wish we could talk. I just had to hop on here in the awkward silence and say something. So we'll be starting in just a minute.
We're ready.
Awesome. Woohoo.
Okay, we just want to welcome everyone out tonight to our team training and inspiration call. And I would say this is more of an inspiration call than anything else, because that is exactly what our Kelly Norman event was this last weekend. And if you were there, you are a different person today than you were last Tuesday, because it was that mind shifting for people who were there. And so we're so grateful that we have so many different people who are going to share their experience with us tonight. We have a variety of about 6 people that are going to be sharing, people that maybe you haven't heard before, maybe you don't know who they are, but you're going to get to know them tonight and you're going to hear their heart. And we're just so excited that they've agreed to share with us their thoughts, the things that they learned, so that you can all benefit whether you were able to be there or not. So I thought I would start off a little bit by some of my takeaways just for a minute or two. And then I'm going to turn it over to Christy, and we'll have her pass the baton from that point. So, you know, one of the things, we were really fortunate to be able to have lunch with Kelly the day before. And one of the things that I loved so much about that lunch was hearing Kelly's story with her business, hearing Kelly's story of how her faith in God has developed over the years. And one of the things that I thought I would share with you, because she wasn't able to share it at our training on Saturday, was how she, you know, was raised in different religions. And when she became a grown-up, she decided to ask God which was right, what church was right. And the answer that she got was that, you know, that religion was not for her, but that just a relationship with God was for her. And she talked about the development of that and how she studied scripture. She calls that the word, studies scripture for years. And she would just stripped away everything else and solely devoted her life to studying the scriptures and her relationship with God. And I don't know if I've ever met someone closer to God than Kelly Norman, because she was so in with what we all needed that day, what the love that she shared with everyone that was around her. And I know that you all felt that spirit too. So that was the thing. My biggest takeaway was how, whatever, you know, if you're religious, if you're not religious, how important it is to have some sort of spiritual connection to your body, to your soul, to whatever you believe in that's comparable to God, because that plays such an important part in our mindset, how we view ourselves, how we view and perceive others, and how important it is that we take time each day to build that relationship however we see it. So Christy, take it away.
Hello, can you hear me okay? Okay, actually what we're going to do is have Jessica Curzon jump in really quick. She's got a meeting to get to. And then after Jessica, I will share, and then we'll get the order for the rest of the night. Does that sound good? Jessica, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. So I am Jessica Curzon, Ruby Ambassador. And first of all, I just have to tell you, Christy and Emily, how grateful I am that you orchestrated this training, because it's just been so great to read back through the notes. It's almost like I've been able to take a recording of it. It was so great. For a minute, I want you guys to think, as mamas or caregivers of young children, how difficult it is to get permanent marker off of furniture, off of walls or faces, with only using like a scrub brush and water. Like, this is an image that came to me while I was thinking about what to share from the training. It's hard, it's difficult, and the thing that touched me so much from the training was the way Kelly talked about changing your toxic thinking. and just the way that we, the thoughts that we constantly are having, and what percentage of them are negative, depending on the person. And I know that this is an area of my life that I have always struggled with. And so I think that's why it touched me so much. Whether you're thinking, man, that was a really stupid move, you're not smart enough, why do you think people would listen to you? Your thoughts might look differently, but, for the most part, I think we all have a lot of negative things that go between our ears every day. And so she talked a lot about, how do we change that? And I'm going to put in there, how do we scrub that permanent marker off? Kelly gave us some homework. Those of you who were there, have you done it yet? She told us to, first of all, to get quiet. Second, to think of all those negative things, those lies, those untrue beliefs, that we tell ourselves, and write them down. And then 3, create a separate paper of the truths and burn that first list. And then just speak those truths daily as our affirmations. She shared some statistics with us that 75% to 98% of mental, physical, and behavioral illness comes from toxic thinking, which that just blew me away. She talked a lot about reprogramming the brain and really getting in tune to our heart, because that is where truth lives, and trying to reprogram that brain where the lies live. And so things that we talk about a lot are affirmations, and that was one that she hit on big time, why they're so important for us. And it's because our brain only hears and sees. And so, whatever we put in front of it or whatever we say to it, that's what our brain believes is truth. And so, some other things that she talked about that I thought were so great was when, some of the major ways to protect against those toxic thoughts is to close the gates. She called them guardrails. A guardrail is a system designed to keep vehicles from, staying out of dangerous and off-limit areas. And she talked about those guardrails in our lives, whether it be relationships or finances or food and alcohol, movies, TV, any of those things. She basically said, anything that takes priority over your family or God, you need to set up some guardrails so that those things can keep you safe. I really loved that. Another thing, I guess, sorry, I'm trying to be quick. Something that happened during the Q&A for me was actually something that Emily said, and something I've been struggling with for a little while is where to draw that line on sacrifice and, missing out on things with your family and kids because they're only little for a short time. And she talked about how with her family, they sit down and, not only do they go over, these are our goals, this is what it's going to take to get there, which we've done that, but, also helped them be, involved in the sacrifices. And so, that was what I was missing. And it was I feel like it's been a huge thing already. We've sat down and talked as a family, and we've kind of, tweaked that a little bit. And so instead of mama's not going to be able to be there to all these things, now it's okay, instead of playing all sports and instead of, karate and piano and all these things that you guys have loved to do the last year, we're not going to be able to do all that anymore. You need to pick one, maybe 2. And so that there's some sacrifice on their end as well. And I, it went a lot better than I thought. I thought they were going to be kicking and screaming and all sorts of tears, but they were they're very on board with, sacrificing so we can reach those goals. So that's it. That's it for me.
Thank you so much, Jessica. That's perfect. I feel like you kind of did a synopsis of the whole feeling of it so perfectly. So thank you. Have a good time at your meeting. Okay, so I am going to quickly share, but I honestly want to hear from you guys more than me. So I'm just going to share a couple quick snippets, and then I cannot wait to turn it over to the rest of the people that get to share tonight. I feel like it's so interesting because everything she said it's stuff that we kind of know, right? I mean, it's stuff we've heard, but the way that she presented it was so beautiful and so simple and so straightforward and no nonsense that it was like light bulbs right and left. Like, why am I complicating things? So, can you guys see me on the screen? Okay. All right. Okay. But one of the things that I really loved that she talked about was, okay, so a lot of times we think when we have fears to kind of focus on the fear. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, let's get to the root of the fear. Let's work through it. Let's like focus on it. And I feel like that's kind of the tendency, is to focus on the fear. And what does that do? That makes the fear grow, right? It makes the negative thing grow. And one thing that she said that I loved was focus on the faith. Her exact words, I've got to find her words. She said, when you want to overcome a fear, increase the faith, feed the faith. So don't focus on that fear. Find something that's going well. Find something that is a blessing. Find something that you love. Focus on the faith, and then that fear will naturally go away without like focusing on it and making it grow. So that's one thing I loved. Another thing that I loved, again, I feel like it all encompasses one big whole, is if we're feeling funky, step one is to feel better. If you're feeling negative thoughts, we've got to stop, be still, and address it. We've got to meditate for 5 or 10 minutes a day. It's really not that hard and long, but it's a matter of doing it or not. And when we're feeling funky, if we just keep going and kind of feel funky all day, what are we attracting? We're attracting funk, right? But if we can tell, okay, I'm starting to get into a funk, we need to stop and just take that time to be still and to look inward and to pray and to, whatever you do, whatever your belief system is, to get right, because that is where the power is. That's where the passion lives. That's where the commitment lives. That's where we can be strong. And so I feel like if there was anything I could say, it would be anything negative that we're feeling, we need to stop and try to address it and just breathe through it, increase the faith, and get into a good place so that we can operate from strength. We can operate from a place that's healthy. So overall, maybe we can share the slides or something, because I feel like there's so much that was so amazing that I want you guys to have access to it. But I just am so empowered in every area to just cut the bull crap, do what I know is truth, focus on the affirmations that are true, and move forward. So that's all I want to say. I want to turn it over to, first we are going to hear from, so try to remember this so I don't have to come back on, and we can hear from you guys as much as possible. So we'll have Megan, and then Christy, Libby, then Marin, Lara, Shalimar, and then Natalie. Does that sound right, everybody? Do we get that order? Does everyone understand when they're going to talk? Okay, so let's hear from Megan.
Christy, it's Megan.
Oh,
I'm trying to see if she's on. Megan, are you on? I'm not sure if she's there. Why don't we move on to whoever's next?
Yeah, Christy. Can we hear from Christy, Libby?
Hey, do I need to unmute myself?
You're good. We can hear you.
Okay, good. So I really, really am so happy that I went to this event. I actually went and sold my plasma so I could afford to go. But I spent 4 hours after this on a date with my husband, brought my notebook with me, and we went through it, the whole thing, bit by bit, all the notes that I wrote down, and we discussed it because I was just so in love with all these different things that she proposed and introduced. And some of the things that stuck out to me, one was the self-talk, which Jessica already hit on. But being a mom of teenagers and a lot of impressionable children, I've had to actually teach myself this over a period of time, mostly since I started Plexus, because I was super depressed before. But when my mind started healing, I was able to change the way that I talked about myself. And I'm trying to teach that to my children as well, because I feel like they need to know how to speak positively about themselves so they can be the best self that they can be. So I loved it when she was talking about self-talk. Another thing that I really loved, I was on like the edge of my seat when she was talking about offense. I struggle with this. And I just wanted to hear every single piece of information that she had on offense. And I loved how she talked about the 10-second rule, where our minds have a decision to make. When we feel like we're being offended, we need to say out loud within the first 10 seconds of feeling that way, I will not be offended. And our minds won't adopt that as an offense. It's kicked out. And I think that's so important, because there's so many ways to take offense. And mind you, nobody gives you offense, you take offense. And when I was thinking about that, like, you do it to yourself because you're making a choice to be offended. So I really loved the 10-second rule. Another thing that I loved when she was talking about offense, she talked about atmospheres in which we can create so we don't take offense. And she said, like, I'll just list them off because I wrote them down, but she said that we need to speak our affirmations every day. We need to choose love no matter what someone does. Just always choose love. We need to celebrate others. And that can be hard because you want to be being celebrated as well, but sometimes it's not your turn and other people have accomplished things, so it's important to celebrate. Let go of perfection. Understand that hurt people hurt other people. And that couldn't be more true. And she talked about Post-it notes. If everybody was wearing Post-it notes with all the things that are going wrong in their life, we would see, why that person is hurting you or saying a mean thing to you or getting upset. And then she said, release the need to defend yourself. Understand that offense is a trap and give grace. I just love people for who they are. So those are some of the things that I really loved about offense that she talked about. And then after lunch, she talked about the 10 questions to pose to yourself to see and seize your dreams. I loved number 8, where she talked about tenacity and if we were moving closer to our dream, and how we needed to change our vocabulary from I can't to I can, and it's never been done, so I'll be the first to do this. Anyway, when she did that, I actually went home and organized my friends list on Facebook and put 700 names in a spreadsheet, alphabetical, and I'm like, I am doing this. Like, this is my goal. So, and today I did 15 cold contacts, and I'm making this happen for my family and for myself. I'm doing this. So she just is so empowering. I really, really loved everything that she had to say, but those are some of my favorites.
Oh, Christy, I'm sorry. I have to hop on. You are making me teary, girl. Oh, your story is so amazing. Thank you so much. Those were like highlights, and you gave me chills over and over. Oh, thank you. Okay, Maren.
Christy, do you remember that quote? I think it was President Hinckley, and he talked about how if you treat everyone as if, or maybe it was Sister Hinckley, if you treat everyone as if they are in absolute peril, you'll pretty much be right 9 times out of 10. Or I don't even remember if I just butchered that or not. But as you were describing that, that's exactly where my mind went. I was like, it's so true. I think we are all just on the edge of destruction most days. And guess what? That is where greatness is born. Greatness lives on the edge of destruction.
Yes,
and
I love it.
That is so key to remember.
Love it. Okay, Maren, are you ready for it, baby? Are you ready? You on? She's probably unmuting herself. Bottom left corner. Let me see if she's here. Oh, she's not here yet. Okay, so we will go to Lara Sutton. Are you ready, girl?
Sure. Am I here?
Yep. You're
Okay.
beautiful.
I think there were so many things that really stood out to me, but one thing I loved in the beginning is that she showed a diagram with 3 circles, and in the outer circle is our body, the middle circle is our soul, and in the middle is our spirit. And I'll show you. I don't know if you can even, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. And in our body, it just houses our spirit and our soul. And then our soul is where our emotions are, our mind is, and our will. And then our spirit is the place that God speaks, our inner strength, and our place of truth, that our spirit will always speak the truth to us. And so when they talked earlier, I think about taking that 10 minutes a day, that if we sit down and listen and we take, like, write that list of all the bad thoughts that come to us constantly, and those negative thoughts, and write them down, and we ask for the truth, our spirit will always speak truth. And I really, that kind of resonated with me. I also loved a quote that she had up there by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it said, "Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people." And I think that is so true, especially as one woman. How many times do you get together and they're all talking about each other, and how we need to be greater than that. I mean, her whole thing was, you know, leading to leave a legacy, that we have a legacy, that God has, I mean, whoever you believe in, that all of us have something to accomplish on this earth, and that we all have things that we need to do and people that we need to influence. And I think, you know, not
Lara, I think you're muted, friend.
sorry.
No,
Did I
you're
just,
good.
hey, I don't even know where I stopped. Am I good now? Or did I just mute myself?
You're good. It was just,
I was just talking.
Yeah, no, it was like 5 seconds. You're good.
Okay. So sorry, I'm going through my slides fast on my phone because I kind of took a picture. I need to find one. Okay, and so she also had another thing up that had 2 different columns, and one said successful people and one says unsuccessful people. And that successful people believe, and on the other side it said unsuccessful people doubt. And so successful people, I'm just going to go through what they do, and then unsuccessful people, it's they plan, they study, they decide, they prepare, they begin, they work, they listen, they smile, they commend, they persist, and they save. And unsuccessful people doubt, play, sleep, delay, daydream, procrastinate, wish, talk, frown, criticize, quit, and waste. And how we can change our mindset into being that successful people and living the legacy. I mean, I think in my own life, what do I want to lead? What do I want to leave for my children, so that they can see who we've become and see what we've learned? I know Christy talked about offense, and that was a huge thing for me too, that, you know, it's our choice. Also, like programming your mind, that our thoughts become beliefs, and our beliefs become feelings, and our feelings become actions. And that each of those can go on top of each other, and that we need to watch what we're thinking, that we need to reassess on a regular basis those negative thoughts that come into our mind, because we all have them. I think she said, "Are you breathing today? Put your hand right here." If you are, then you have these negative thoughts. You're not immune. And that they are just that. They're not truth. And that if we sit down and we get connected with our spirit inside of our bodies, then we can know what the truth is and what our truths are. She also said, she kind of made a list of how to make affirmations, which I feel like it's hard for some of us. I think that they told that in the beginning too, you know, make that list and of all the lies, and then next to it, put all the affirmations, destroy the other list. But she said also, don't quit with those affirmations. Same every day. Everyone says 21 days, and she encourages to do 63 days. Like, it's going to sound weird in the beginning. You know, do it in front of the mirror. And, oh, do I keep up muting myself? I don't know. Anyways, and that, as we continue to do those, that we'll start to believe them, that they will become our core beliefs, that we will know our worth and our value to society and to the world. And so I think those were some of my major points. I could go on forever, but I'll let you.
Love it. Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you, Laura. Okay, so we have, is Megan on yet? I'm gonna look here. I don't think so. Okay, how about Shalimar?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, so I feel like everything that has been said so far were all of my like aha moments. The identity foundation, the one with the 3 circles, that one really hit me because she was describing, you know, when she had a moment where she was driving down the street in her car and she realized her life was a roller coaster, and she wasn't living, you know, I'm trying to remember how she said it, but her core being who she was living in her soul. She was living in her spirit. So if you remember the circle, we've got the spirit, the soul, and the body. And the soul is, she had mind, will, and emotions. So she said that her emotions were a roller coaster, and she was living her life through her emotions, and so her life was a roller coaster. And that really hit me really hard because I feel like that's kind of what I do. I live my life through my emotions. And so that was an aha moment. And then when she started talking about the average person thinks between 30,000 to 50,000 thoughts per day. And with those thoughts, we could either be our biggest cheerleader or we can be our biggest bully. And that really hit me because, you know, we really have the capability of going so far or shriveling up and becoming nothing, and it's up to us. It's not up to anybody else. And she also said 75 to 89% of mental, physical, and behavioral illnesses come from toxic thinking. And I as I'm listening to everyone talk, I'm feeling better because I thought I was the only one as she was speaking that I was like, oh my gosh, this is so me. All I do is just tear myself down and second guess myself, and I overthink things and I worry about everything, and I feel like she was inspired to share that because I bet most of us, I don't want to say all, but I bet a large portion of us feel that way. We are so critical of ourselves as mothers, as wives, as daughters. I think it's really easy for us to be our biggest bully. And that really hit me so hard. She also talked about that we have the ability to rewire our brains. The neural paths in our brain, we can rewire them. We can rebuild them and create a more positive atmosphere, a more positive attitude. And so I know it was brought up how to make your affirmations, but I wanted to actually read exactly what she put on the slide because I really liked it and it's what I started to do. Let's see if I can find it really fast. Oh, here it is. Okay. So she says, 1, make a list of every negative thought, lie, and untrue belief that speak to you or that has been spoken to you that you believe is true about yourself. And write them all down. And I wanted to just share. I mean, I've started. I think it's important that if we really struggle with this, we really take it seriously and do it. And then she says, on a separate paper, write down the truth. Write down your truth and write down the things that you know that are true and your God-given talents and abilities, the things that you know are to be true about you. And then number 3, burn the first sheet. Destroy it however you can, but get rid of it. And then number 4, speak your truth daily as your affirmations. And I just, that was just the biggest thing for me. I felt like more than just having a business. More than just that, I think to succeed in all areas of life, in relationships, in health, in what else was it? In every area that you struggle, if you are able to have affirmations specific toward those areas, it'll become so much easier. And so I made these calendars a while ago for a class I taught on health, but I'm going to laminate my affirmations and then put up these 2 month of calendars. It's 60 days, and mark off every day that I repeat my affirmations. I really felt so strongly when she said, if you do this, I promise you'll be a different person after those 63 days. And she just spoke straight to my soul when she said that. And I thought, I'm going to do this. And regardless, I mean, plexus wise, as a wife, as a mother, as a student going to school, as a employee, in all ways, I think having a positive attitude will change your life. And so that was my takeaway.
Oh, I love it, Shalimar. That was so perfect. Oh my goodness, you guys seriously filled my soul again. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, so our last person we're going to hear from is Natalie. Are you here, Natalie?
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, great.
All right. Well, so many wonderful things have already been said, and so many things that stood out to me have already been said. And so I love hearing them again, and I love hearing somebody else's perspective. And I'll be honest with you, when I was asked to talk about, kind of my takeaways, I have had a horrible day, and I was grumpy, and I kind of actually said no at first. Just because, I didn't feel like I would say anything that would be a benefit to anybody. And then I thought to myself, okay, hold on, girl. What would Kelly Norman do? And so I actually, typed the message back and I said, all right, okay, get out of my toxic brain and just share what's in your heart. And I think one of the things that resonated with me throughout all of what Kelly Norman said was just the focus on love. And so just to kind of summarize everything that she said in her last slide that she put up, one of the things she said was, live your life for the one, love the one in front of you. And I think, and she was talking about like the significance of your dream and if your dream benefits others. And I think that wherever we're at in this world, whether it's Plexus or as moms or wherever, that's really what we're wanting to do, is bless others and show love to others, whether it's through health, wealth, happiness, friendship, whatever it is. And so in summary of everything, her last slide said, know who you are, let go of the offense, know who you are. People have done a really great job about talking about putting those negative thoughts down on paper, get rid of it, and then have those positive affirmations. Let go of the offense. Somebody else talked about, all the things that we can do to do that. One of the things that I love that she said about offenses is to bless them and pray for them and mean it. Ask God for love for them, seek restoration, and do acts of kindness. And then somebody else mentioned set healthy boundaries. So whatever it is in your life, those guardrails that we have to set so you can stay healthy and safe, so you can stay on your path to your dreams. So when others crash, you can help them, and this will help you attract the right people. And I think this was really big for me because I think I have kind of a hard time setting these boundaries, especially because I don't want to hurt somebody or anything like that. So she said, set those guidelines and those guardrails with confidence. You don't have to give a reason. You don't have to take on guilt, and you can respond versus react. And then, she talked a lot about dreams. And one of the things somebody mentioned about tenacity, which really spoke to me as well. And she said the rule of 5. Do 5 things that move you closer to your dream every single day. What can you do What can you change to finish strong? And she said, put your dream to the test and live beyond yourself, and you will leave a legacy that empowers others. And I just love that, because I think her message was kind of like Christy said, very simple things that we already know, but putting it all together for us so we can, you know, chew on it daily and use it in our lives daily, so that we can love and bless and empower others. So that's kind of just a synopsis.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Beautiful. Don't you feel like everything just came together? Everybody's little tidbits, just a perfect little package, a little snippet of what we got to experience. So just in closing really quick, one thing that she said at the very end that I just adored, because I don't know if you guys can relate to me, but sometimes we just want to be at the next thing. We're like, oh my gosh, I just want to be qualified for Leaders Retreat, or oh my gosh, I just want to hit that next rank, or oh, if I could just get this dang enrollment to go through, it's giving me an error message over and over and over today, right? Guys, here's what she said at the very end, and I love it. She said, the dream is fulfilling because of the journey. It's not one of those things where when we reach that dream, when we achieve whatever it is we're working for, we're not going to have this rush of, oh my gosh, life is so good and I'm so happy. That actually is not how it's going to be. The reason that dream is fulfilling is because of the struggle. It's because of that day in, day out. Like Shalimar said, looking at your affirmations, working this out. And I love how she kept saying, you know, figure this out, break it all the way down, and then walk it out. Every single day, walk this out. And that's why the dream is so fulfilling, because of every single step along the way. It's the journey, truly. It's the hard times and it's the victories. It's the whole package. And as we learn to, you know, choose love and use that 10-second rule to not take offense and, you know, burn that list of our fears and our negative thoughts and replace them with those truths that we know are true. As we're doing all these things and speaking from our spirit and living in that space, that's what's going to make this whole dream so fulfilling, is the journey. And every single day that we get closer, and we're doing those 5 things every day. So I am seriously, I can't even put into words how beautiful this whole experience has been. And I'm just so grateful that all of you are with me. Like, we're in this thing together. Do you guys feel it? Like, I feel like our teams have never been more united, and we're just like united in purpose, along with the other jewels that have their people there. I feel like all of us are just so united, and we're just moving forward and creating a legacy. And just think of, as we're all doing this, think of what this is going to be for our children, like the differences that we're making for our kids and for our families. Like, it's a huge deal, and I'm so grateful to be part of it. So thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for showing up on Saturday and for bringing your beautiful spirits, and thanks for coming tonight. I really want to keep that page up and alive. So if you guys want to post and put your breakthroughs there on that page, if you weren't at the event and you're not part of our Kelly Norman page, ask to be added. It's called Leading to Leave a Legacy with Kelly Norman, Utah Style. You can be added to the page, and we can just keep it alive with people having breakthroughs, people having questions. Maybe Shalimar, when you get your 63rd day, you can say, guess what, guys, I did it. Like, I want to have that as a tool to stay connected and united. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. We love you all so much. Mwah! Have a beautiful night. And we're just so excited to do this thing together with all of you. So good night, guys.